Hello and welcome back to another video. So today I get to show you guys my new pride and joy, which you can see behind me. So let's waste no time. I absolutely love this thing and I'm going to explain exactly why in today's video. Well, say hello to my 2007 Suzuki GSXR 600 K7. Now K7, if you didn't know, means it's a year 2007 model, but also this is a Isle of Man TT limited edition, which I'll get to in a second. So you can see the colour combo that I've gone for. It has that really lovely deep blue metallic colour along with the gloss black panels and the little red touches. But this exact bike is actually a Isle of Man TT limited edition model, which I had no idea, to be honest with you guys, this bike even existed until a few months ago. So what I've been doing recently is a bit of research and a bit about the history. Let me share some of the stuff that I found.
Now, without getting into every bit of detail of the past history of this, I'll try and get straight to the point here. So first of all, I found out that the Isle of Man TT started in 1907 and continued on getting bigger and better as each year went on, as we all know, because it's still going very strong in today's world. Anyway, 100 years later after it all began, which takes us now to the year 2007, Suzuki GP released an article which stated an announcement. They announced that limited edition models have now been produced under an exclusive license from the Isle of Man TT government to celebrate 100 years of the racing at the famous TT circuit. The GSXR 600cc, the 750cc and the 1000cc variations will be offered in unique colour combo options. A identifying number along with the Isle of Man TT logo will both be embossed into the yoke plate on each bike produced.
Now, recently, I've been doing a lot of research online to do with these Isle of Man TT version bikes, and what I found is there's only 150 worldwide of these 600cc versions in this blue and black combo colour made, which is unbelievable. Also, the 750 version CC, they made 200 of those worldwide in a slightly deeper blue and black colour. And last of all, they made 150 of 1000cc versions, but that colour combo was in a red and metallic silver colour combo instead of the blue and the black, which I would love to see in person. I've never seen one. Hopefully I get to see one at some point in the future.
Now, as you can see here, I'm one of the very lucky owners to this special 600cc version, which has really made me feel just mind blown to be able to own this special machine made.
Now, as far as I'm aware, Suzuki didn't actually do anything extra performance-wise to the Isle of Man TT version bikes comparing to the standard K7 models out there for sale on the market. But for some reason, this bike still just feels that little bit extra special, just now I know some of the history behind it.
Now, I was really interested to know just how many of these 600cc version bikes are still about in the UK. So I did a little bit of digging online, and this is what I found. There are two for sale currently on eBay right now, which I couldn't believe, but the original number one of 150 is on there for around £7,000, located in Birmingham. That surely will be worth some good money in the future, so definitely one to buy. And then I also found this one, which was number 58 for £6,000 on eBay too. I also seen a number 114 on a YouTube video, which was posted around 3 years ago. Also, a few weeks ago, someone on my TikTok account commented on one of my videos and said that they own number 11 and his dad owns number 89 too.
Now, one of the strangest things actually happened to me at work this week, which I am going to mention in today's video because it's kind of part of the history of one of these bikes. So I pulled up with this thing at work in the car park, and one of the work colleagues was absolutely mind blown to see another one of these again, because he actually owned number 67 of the 150 made back in the day. He said that was one of the biggest regrets selling that bike out of all of the ones he owned. He absolutely loved it, and he was quite happy to see another one in person again. But he's been a real help to me so far because he gave me some tricks and tips with this bike, and he's also lent me his Haynes manual that was spare so I could carry out a full service which you guys can check my video out in the description below. So clearly there are some of these bikes still kicking around on the market, which is really good to see. Anyway, let's now move on to some of the other research that I found out.
So this website tells you just how many of the limited edition models are still around worldwide, and the way I'm reading this is at the end of year 2023's recorded data, the GSXR 600 K7 Isle of Man TT edition had 37 licensed on the road and 44 sawn off of the road, which means there is only 81 of the 150 left. So maybe the others were crashed or damaged or something. The 750cc version has 56 licensed on the road, 61 is currently sawn off of the road, leaving 117 of the 200 left. And lastly, the 1000cc version has only 25 licensed on the road, with 66 sawn off of the road, which leaves 91 of the 150 left. I would love to know if anyone else watching this video has previously owned any of these CC bikes and what number you had or still have. What was your experiences when you owned the bike, or if you still do? But more than anything, I really just want the current owners to this day to come forward and write in the comment section what number do they still own, how long have you owned it for, and where are you from, because there's not really anything online video wise, which I'm very surprised about. So I'm just going to do this video today and hopefully I can find some of these owners still. So that's the history lesson over. Let's get back over to my bike.
So let me give you a little bit of general information about this exact bike. So it's a 2007 model 600cc, as you know, because we've talked all about it. This does produce around 105 to 115 brake horsepower. However, it doesn't have like loads of bottom end torque, I'd say, but it does rev to over 15,000 RPM. So the power is more to sort of the top end. And that's what makes this bike more fun personally, because you've got to really work the power, especially around bends and stuff. It's also had 6 previous owners, and it came with some partial service history when I did buy the bike. So the first thing I did was I bought a full service kit, and it was leaking a little bit of oil, which turned out to be the water pump. So all of that's now been done. It leaks no oil. There's the brand new water pump. So if you want to see that video, just go into my description and I'll leave the link below.
Now in my garage I have a framed photocopied version of the original certificate of the authenticity that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. This states what number bike I have out of the 150 produced, and you can clearly see I have number 81. When I viewed this bike, it was kept locked in the garage away from all the bad UK weather elements, which to be honest, the condition of this machine just shows it's been clearly looked after in the past.
So the mileage is currently on 27,251. I don't know if you can see that. So I've already started racking up the miles, but to be honest I don't think it's too bad considering it's a early 2000s bike, I guess. And to me it just shows the previous owners before me have enjoyed their time during their ownership, which is pretty good. Whilst I'm in this area, I think it's time I show you how to identify one of these limited edition models. So you can see here you've got the Isle of Man TT logo embossed and stamped with 1907 to 2007, which is the celebration of the Isle of Man TT, like we explained. And then over to the right, you can see it's stamped with limited edition, and this is number 81 of the 150 made worldwide. The other GSXR CC models have the exact same identification in this area too. So what was my impressions with this exact bike when I viewed it? Well, there was 3 things. Honest to God, I was struggling to find faults with this bike. The only thing I could find was a little bit of oil seeping from the front fork seal, which has now been fixed. It was no big deal, and it's just general wear and tear. But overall, you can tell this thing has been cherished by the old owner. It was all kept in the garage, all the maintenance stuff was on it. You can tell by the condition of it, it's been very loved. Number 2, the first thing that even grabbed my attention in the first place is the color combo. I absolutely love how nice that deep blue looks, especially when the sun hits it. I've mentioned that already, but that was really eye-catching for me. That caught my attention on the internet before I even viewed the bike in person. And number 3 is how nice this bike sounds. When this thing was started up, honest to God, it just sounds so good. There's not much out there on the roads that sound like this thing, especially when you start getting it on the high RPMs. Now, this is just my opinion, and many of you will disagree this, but in my opinion, I think the K7 design is the best shape and design that Suzuki ever did. I just think it looks so good with all the lines and shapes, etc. You just cannot beat it.
I just like how simple but nice Suzuki have kept this bike looking, and it's certainly aged very well, and it doesn't look outdated. Plus, it's just a raw ride with none of these electrics like we have in today's world on the other sort of motorcycles produced. It's just pure noise and smiles for miles, well, until your lower back and wrist give up, that is. Now, there are a few things I've started doing recently to improve my bike a bit more since my ownership. Things like the Suzuki badges on the fuel tank was wearing out, so I've just replaced them with new badges. I added new wheel decals, a new black double bubble front screen, an Isle of Man TT tank decal, and I've detailed and polished the paintwork just so it now gives that deep glossy shine to the paint finish. After my recent full service video, further work was carried out, costing an extra £600, so I had some wiring issues that needed sorting out, fork seals upgraded, head bearings, side kickstand bypass needed adding on because I had an issue with that, and an oil seal replacement due to a small leak started happening. I do have more plans in the future to improve my bike, so please subscribe to find out what will be added in the future. Over here to the rear panels, you can see these are just plain black, which are missing the original Isle of Man TT 600 graphics, which should be fitted from factory. This is a picture of someone else's bike that has these fitted. My guess is they worn out and got removed, or someone just didn't like them and took them off. So I've already got in contact with a company called GP Graphics, who are located near me in Chippenham, Wiltshire. They are currently redesigning these and getting these remade for me, so I'm looking forward to getting these put back onto the bike to keep that factory look.
Right, let me show you two of the best modifications that's been added to my bike, which just puts the biggest smile on my face when I ride this thing.
And that is this aftermarket Leo Vinci SBK exhaust system. It just sounds so good and makes the bike addictive to ride. But also hidden just down here is a quick shifter installed, which just adds to the madness too. Honestly, these two combined together make the bike.
So let's get this GSXR started up and give you guys some sound checks, and then what I'm going to do is put my GoPro on and we can take a little onboard ride so you guys can hear what this thing sounds like when it's being ridden too. Honestly, it just sounds amazing. So it is 4 months later, and I apologise because I had an audio issue. So it is actually New Year's Eve right now, and I'm just out on the bike having a little pot around. So the first thing I want to talk about is the handling and what some roads we have here, just to explain how good this thing is. I would just recommend getting yourself some good decent tyres and make sure your suspension's serviced, and you will have no issues. But yeah, this thing feels so planted when you want to have some fun with this. I just absolutely love it. It's one of the best handling bikes I think I've owned personally. So yeah, the handling for me is definitely a thumbs up. And like I said earlier on in the video, the quick shifter and the exhaust is my two favourite features that this bike has. And this is why when you're on board, to use the clutch to go down the gears, and then you don't need the clutch to go up the gears as long as the throttle's open. So my hands in front. So very smooth, very easy to use, but yeah, it is just such a good combo. Oh, just sounds amazing. Literally I could listen to this all day. And that's just literally a little bit of throttle. It's nowhere near the high rev range. That is literally just playing with quarter throttle pretty much. So this is second gear, and I'll just wind it on very quickly. Watch how fast this picks up for a 600. I have been riding for about 40 minutes by the way, so the tyres are very warm, and they're at that point now where it's just sticking to the road so good. I know there's a lot of other nice sounding bikes, of course there are, but there's just something so special and unique with these four trumpets just absolutely screaming its nut off on this engine when you do wind it up. It's just amazing. The next thing I would like to talk about is the brakes. I don't think personally they are the best. I've done what I can for the moment, but I do want to change them to stainless braided lines just to see if that helps improve the braking a little bit more, and maybe some better discs. But from factory, you do have to be a little bit careful with this bike being a 2007. Of course, it is very behind comparing to today's modern stuff on other motorcycles, but it's not too bad. Oh, I just love it. See, this is the best New Year's Eve you can have. Get yourself one of these. Just enjoy the sound in your own company. What else do you need? Another thing to mention quickly is the comfort of this bike. It's actually not that bad. When I was looking around for sports bike, that was one of the most thing I was dreading, was getting a really bad back all of the time. But this has actually got quite a nice position. As long as you squeeze that fuel tank with your knees, stay loose on the bike and on the handlebars, it's actually not that bad. It does take me a good hour before I start feeling like I need to stop and have a rest. And I don't really know what else to say. I mean, if you're on the market looking for a Suzuki GSXR 2007, I would just highly recommend getting one, at least trying it for 6 months, maybe to a year, see how you get on. But I guarantee once you put that quick shifter on and that exhaust, you will definitely not be looking to sell it. And to fully service the bike, I've got a tutorial video, if you haven't seen that, on my channel, helping you guys out how to do that yourself. But that's definitely worth doing yourself too. Save yourself hundreds of pounds, and it will sound exactly like my bike does. Nice, healthy, with that crisp sound. Very responsive. And of course it's a reliable bike, being Japanese, so it's all well built. So I think that's pretty much all for me today. I don't really know what else to say other than this is just an amazing machine. And if you do like my content, I will be putting a lot more stuff up as the summertime starts to approach. So please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Until then, I'll catch you all in the next one very soon.
Running